All right, let's dive into 1 Peter chapter 2. Our goal today isn't just to read it. We're going to walk through it verse by verse and paint a picture in our minds so vivid that it becomes totally unforgettable. Let's get started. So let me start by asking you this. Do you ever get that feeling like you're just drifting, floating along without any real solid purpose? Well, this chapter hits that feeling head on. It basically says, hey, you're not meant to be adrift. You were meant to be a builder, part of something massive that's built to last forever.
And that brings us to Act 1, the foundation. You know, before you can build anything great, you've got to prepare the ground. It's time to get ready for some serious growth.
We kick things off with verse 1, which is basically a cleanup job. I want you to picture yourself standing in front of a giant dumpster. You're holding 5 heavy, grimy trash bags, and they're labeled malice, deceit, hypocrisy, envy, and evil speaking. The verse says to get rid of all of them. So in your mind, just heave each one of those bags into the dumpster. Hear that clang? That's step 1, clearing out the junk.
Okay, now for verses 2 and 3. The ground is cleared out, so what do you fill it with? The Bible says to crave pure, spiritual milk, just like a newborn baby. So picture a clean, glowing glass of milk. This isn't about forcing yourself to do something, it's about a deep, natural craving. And why? Why should you crave it? Verse 3 tells us, because you've already had a taste of how good God is. That first taste just makes you want more.
So now we move to Act 2, discovering your new identity. After we've prepped the foundation, we get to zoom out and see the absolutely epic blueprint that you are now a part of.
Verses 4 and 5. This is where we get the main image for the whole chapter. Picture a single, magnificent, glowing stone. The text calls it the living stone, and it was rejected by human builders. But now, watch this. Countless other, smaller, glowing stones, and yet, that's you, are drawn to it. They're flying through the air and fitting together perfectly, building this spectacular, shining temple. You're not just a person, you're a living stone in God's house.
So what's the foundation of this temple? Verse 6 tells us exactly what makes it so unshakably secure. Just visualize a giant, impossibly radiant cornerstone being lowered down from the heavens by beams of pure light. As it clicks into place, the whole structure becomes solid, unmovable. That cornerstone is Christ, and the verse promises that if you build your life on Him, you will never, ever be put to shame.
Now, verses 7 and 8 show us that there are 2 totally different reactions to this cornerstone. First, picture a group of builders looking at this perfect stone, kind of shrugging, and then just carelessly kicking it aside. Now picture a completely different scene. It's dark, and people are walking along, but they trip hard over that exact same stone because they refuse to see its light or recognize how important it is. Same stone, 2 completely opposite outcomes.
So, if you're one of the people who builds on that stone, who does that make you? Well, verse 9 is like your brand new ID card, and it has 4 incredible titles on it. Imagine looking in a mirror. As you read these titles, your reflection literally changes. You see yourself in the regal clothes of royalty, then the sacred garments of a priest, then as a citizen of a holy nation, and finally, you see a tag that says God's special possession.
Verse 10 just drives this transformation home. Think of it like a before and after shot. In the before picture, you see these scattered, lonely figures wandering around in a bleak, gray landscape. But in the after, you see them all being gathered together under a massive banner of light, forming a vibrant, colorful, unified community. You've gone from being a nobody to being part of the people of God.
Okay, so you have this incredible new identity. What do you actually do with it? Well, Act 3 gives us the blueprint, the practical guide for how to live in the world.
Verses 11 and 12 tell us we should see ourselves as travelers or pilgrims just passing through this world. Picture a tourist in a chaotic foreign city, but instead of just blending in or causing trouble, they quietly perform a simple act of kindness for someone. That one little act creates this ripple of golden light that spreads out, causing everyone who sees it to stop, look up, and wonder, where did that goodness come from?
Verses 13 through 15 tackle a tricky subject, government. The instruction is to submit to human authority, so visualize a person respectfully following the laws of the land. Now, imagine a bunch of foolish people shouting baseless accusations at them. Their quiet, honorable conduct acts like a powerful and visible shield, just deflecting those noisy, ignorant words and silencing them completely.
And this leads to the amazing paradox in verse 16. You're told to submit, but you're also totally free. So picture a person holding a key that has just unlocked these heavy chains from their wrists. They're free.
But instead of using their free hands for selfish or destructive things, they immediately pick up tools to start building and serving others. That's what freedom with a purpose looks like.
Verse 17 is like a rapid-fire summary for daily life. 4 commands. Boom, 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 boom. Let's visualize it as 4 really quick scenes. First, a respectful bow to a complete stranger. Cut. Second, a warm, genuine hug between friends. Cut. Third, kneeling in total awe before a throne of blinding light. Cut. And fourth, giving a respectful nod to a secular ruler.
And all of this leads us to our final and most powerful section, Act 4, the Masterclass. This is all about how to handle the hardest parts of life by looking at the ultimate role model.
Verses 18 through 20 introduce a really tough idea: suffering when you've done nothing wrong. Imagine a person standing perfectly still and calm while a violent storm, I'm talking wind, rain, lightning, is just raging all around them. They're getting battered, but they don't even flinch because their eyes are fixed on a steady, unwavering light in the distance.
So how in the world do you do that? How do you stand firm like that? Verse 21 gives us the answer. It says, Christ gave us an example to follow in his steps. Picture a difficult, treacherous mountain path, but leading the way is a set of glowing footprints pressed right into the rock. All you have to do is carefully place your feet exactly where he stepped.
And verse 22 explains why he's the perfect example: his absolute, total innocence. Just visualize a flawless diamond. It's completely pure, not a single blemish, and it's shining with this brilliant light. That was his character.
Verse 23 shows this perfection in action. Picture this: sharp, ugly, hateful words are flying through the air like poison darts, aimed straight at Jesus. But instead of hitting him or him throwing anything back, they just pass right through him, like he's made of light. He's left completely unharmed and silent. He just absorbed the hate without returning it. And why? Why did he endure all of that? Verse 24 gives us the ultimate reason. See a person kneeling at the foot of the cross, just weighed down by these impossibly heavy, rusty chains. As they look up, they watch as all their chains are drawn off of them and onto Christ. The chains just dissolve into pure light, and for the very first time, that person can stand up straight, completely free.
The chapter ends with verse 25, and it's this powerful before and after image. First, you see a single, lost sheep shivering and totally alone in a dark, scary forest. And then, the final scene. A strong, caring shepherd finds that sheep, gently lifts it onto his shoulders, and begins the journey home, walking out of the darkness and toward a warm, welcoming light.
And that brings us right to the end. The entire chapter, from clearing out the junk in your life to becoming part of a spiritual temple, it all leads to this one final question for you. You have been given a new identity. You are a living stone. So, what will you help build?